Just over 9,500 pounds. This is a Cedar Creek rear kitchen with living room super slide and full bedroom slide here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. Just came in on trade. They swapped her out for a big old wide body motorhome that we had come in here. They just decided that, you know what, we'd like to do the motorized thing. We think it'd be a little easier for our style of camping rather than towing. And you folks are going to benefit from it. Because if you can look past the decals, which are naturally, faded from years of exterior storage, other than that, this thing is ace. It is ace. You're going to see where they put a lot of extra time, effort, money, and upgrades into this thing as they owned it. With the slide closed like you see right here, this has the same thing going on most rear kitchens do, and that is that it's just not going to be super traveling friendly. Rear kitchens are good for a lot of things, but they're best to destinations. They're not quite as friendly going down the road. That being said, they're so good when you get there that, frankly, they're kind of worth it. Now, the living area is one of the most obvious places where you can see where some money was added to this. All of the flooring that we're seeing here on the main deck was replaced. That's residential grade laminate, true laminate flooring. And you notice how they also took all the carpeting out of the slide out, and they trimmed it out real nice and put the same flooring in there. They also added a residential love seat, so that is not an RV grade furniture fixture right there. Thankfully, the Cedar Creek slide was big enough that they could put a larger sofa in and still leave room for that 4-person freestanding table and chairs. All of our windows open for airflow. You can see a classic thing with storage all the way through the overhead part of the slide out. It's something that's kind of faded in recent years. I wish would make its way back. Open range is still pretty good for that typically though. Up top, we've got a residential ceiling fan to give us some extra airflow, both in the bathroom and the kitchen. You'll also find max air vent fans here as well. Now, rear kitchens are inclined to give us all sorts of amazing cabinet storage space, as well as a fantastic amount of countertop prep space, and this is no exception. Over here, whatever original factory chair might have been present has been swapped out. There's a residential recliner put in its place, and just a couple little recliner side stands you could move around anywhere that you really feel like. I don't know that someone's like, oh, stools. I don't think those are stools. They don't really have cross members below them. They're not made to be as load bearing. Now, a lot of rear living room fifth wheels out there. They'll give you a big window like this, and that's neat. But so does this rear kitchen. The difference is a rear kitchen's window looks out over your campsite, not the neighbors. Now that beam that we're looking at, that's the center support beam for the awning, because this is old enough. This was made before it did have a more common power slide out, or pardon me, power awning as you'd find in today's market. Now the entertainment is yet another area where they spent some money, updated, upgraded, and the way that they did it is just ingenious. I actually think somebody should try to find a similar solution to something like this and use it in the new RV market, because they took the original sort of tube style TV out, put a nice flat screen in here, and they put it on a swing arm mount, which is nice. But you notice how it has like an auto recoil. It retracts itself, and it's actually very simple how they did it. They just wrapped a couple bungee cords around this little homemade makeshift stand that they put here. But the thing is, guys, going down the road, that TV's going to stay put. You know, it's not going to fall out of its position. It's not going to get caught behind the slide flange so that when you open up the slide out, it doesn't get crushed. It's simple, but it's simply effective. Up front here, we are passing a sliding privacy door, so you can enclose the front area. And so that you maintain privacy at night if you have a guest, there is a sliding privacy curtain to close off just the bedroom area from the bathroom. Now, we do have a 60 by 80 residential queen bed here with cross-breeze side windows. And you notice one of the two doors here, the mirror has been replaced by just that simple panel. Older fifth wheels like this, I've seen more than my fair share of them at this point in my career. Sometimes, if the door was left open in transit, it might slide around and bang around. Perhaps that glass was broken at some point. And that simple white panel, frankly, it's just a very simple, effective, and hey, it's eye-pleasing, low-dollar solution to something like that. I also just noticed they replaced the standard factory antenna up here with a king jack antenna system. What's cool about this, you don't have to crank the antenna up and down. You just turn it the direction you want. You've got your signal indicator here that will tell you how much signal you're receiving. So you only have to do one channel scan. And that's a neat little modern upgrade. You find that fixture on modern fifth wheels all the time, and here you're finding it on this used one. So this is a classic split bath, as was the case when this was built. At the time this RV was built, trucks were not yet as big as and capable as they are today. So this was the way that they could keep the RV shorter and lighter for the trucks of yesteryear. You tend to find more privatized bathroom arrangements in more modern RV production. Although what I do want to point out is, once again, we do have a full-on max air vent fan up here, so when you are in need of that superior airflow, partner, you got it. Now we'll talk all about the construction of this. Even though I'm not a Cedar Creek dealer, I actually took some time to learn the product and learn, how they're put together. Very respectable product. Now, if a dealer tells you something like that on a product they don't carry, it's got to say something, guys. We are very straight shooting folks here. Now, these MORryde steps are a much more modern addition to the RV industry. They were added to this RV. It's just yet another thing where someone spent a few $100s more, making this a more easily accessible, enjoyable experience. You can see the original factory steps are still down there. One thing you can do, if you are interested, is you actually can remove those, and MORryde does make like a toolbox that you can put down there. Very handy for like wheel chocks and stuff. Nice big wide open pass-through compartment here, and this is a drop frame storage area, so it is pretty darn large. You can see you've got all sorts of room. It's also fairly clean in there given the age of the RV. Another upgrade that was put on this RV are the strong arm stabilizer jacks right here, and those things are incredible. I can't possibly do them justice just by describing them. Suffice to say, if what you're trying to do is keep an RV sturdy and stable so that it doesn't rock and roll as you come and go, first of all, those MORryde steps are going to help. But secondly, as you move around the inside, those strong arm jack supports up front, those things are the absolute business. Okay, so construction. A lot of people don't realize Cedar Creek RVs are not laminated. It's they can still have all the same materials in the walls as a laminated structure, but effectively if you look at how it's skeleton more like what you call a stick-built camper, but with aluminum studs like every 16 inches on center in those walls, as opposed to maybe up to 4 feet or more in a laminated wall. I mean, there is way more metallic skeletal structure under the surface of this thing. And you're like, what do you mean it's not laminated? I'm looking at the fiberglass skin. Yeah, they still have a full fiberglass skin on it. And what they do there is the fiberglass skin itself is effectively what's called like Mindy boarded, where you've got a very extra thick skin on this. It's almost like a boat hull thickness that is laminated to just a double set Luan substrate. So dual Luan sheets that are offset so that you don't see seams in the walls. And then that is attached to the skeletal structure below, and all your insulation is hand tucked between the studs. It is actually one of the most classic ways of building big fifth wheels, but it's not a less expensive way of building big fifth wheels. And most brands have moved away from it because they found an effective but lower dollar method of building things. And Cedar Creek never quit. It's just kind of, that's the thing. You can tell, I mean, the decals, like I said when this video began, if you can look past the decals, you're in for a treat. This thing was stored outside for most of its life. The most recent owner spent the last few years of it stored, I don't know if it's inside or under cover, but protected. Well, if you can look past a couple peeled flaking decals, which personally all I do is get a high pressure washer and blow them right off of there and call it a day. You have a nice clean looking camper when you're all done. This thing's a tank. I mean, you can beat the dickens out of one of these and it just don't care. It's like a honey badger instead of a bear. Little accessory receiver hitch on the back here for things like a bike rack and whatnot. And with no slides over here on the campsite, you got that nice big campsite viewing window and nothing obstructing that huge patio awning on this girl right here. Now the roof membrane appears to be the original roof skin up here. You can see this is pretty normal looking for the age, but if you feel it and touch it, it's very like pliable still. So what I think happened here is somebody bought this and didn't do the best job of taking care of it, and the most recent owner who had it for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, I don't have the hard data in front of me, they really put a lot of life and conditioner and everything back into this, and this is viable. I mean, this is fine. You're not inheriting problems here. All your seals have been peeled and resealed, and I can even see where they went through and did a couple little touch-ups, so they were on top of preventative maintenance. Again, you're looking at these little things and go, whoa, 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 buddy, what happened here? Remember, they removed the original antenna and put that upgraded antenna that we're looking at on here. Also, they put the Max Air vent covers over all 3 vents so that you can enjoy airflow anytime you want. And I tell you, walking around up here, I have not yet found a soft spot. This is sturdy, this is stable, this is done right, this is well maintained. It's just a little bit older, guys. If you're okay with something that's not a spring chicken, but a very well kept, not a spring chicken, congratulations. You're gonna save a ton of money off a late model fifth wheel as a result. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with this thing. There's no reason you couldn't go towing it, but I look at this floor plan in my head, I say, man, if you had a campsite where you were just gonna leave this thing parked, like seasonally, holy cow, this thing is perfect for that. So, short of that, guys, whether it's hitching pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, and everything in between, we do it all at Haylett RV. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.